Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called White Hat. White Hat is a game published by Dragon Dawn Productions, designed by, I'm going to butcher these names and I apologize, Rin Maltamaki and Thomas Klausner. Plays 1 to 6 players and 30 to 45 minutes. And this is effectively a trick-taking game about a white hat, which is an ethical computer hacker. I don't know anything about computer hacking, but that's the theme. Ultimately, what this boils down to is a trick-taking game where you're trying to move some tokens around on this board to score the least amount of points. Because unless you're playing a variant, you want to end the game with the fewest amount of points. And that's effectively it. There's some different modules that I'm going to show you, some different optional rules, but at its heart, trick-taking game where you're trying to move around to score the fewest amount of points. Now this is a 3rd edition, I believe, version 3. It used to be called Black Hat, so I'm not sure. This is the only one I really know, but I know there was a game called Black Hat that looks similar to this, plays similar to this. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So let's go down to the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of White Hat, all set up for 3 players. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put out the board, and you're going to decide if you want to use any of these tiles, just to kind of randomize the board, which I have done. We're also going to be using all the advanced rules of the spaces, so all the spaces will do what they do. We're also going to be playing with celebrity status, and I'm going to be the black color. And I'm going to try to get my target score to be as close to 15 as possible. Whoever's closest to their score is the winner. Normally in a regular game you want to have the lowest score, but in this case you want to be closest to your celebrity status. And we're also going to possibly bring in the tracer and do some kind of things, and we're ready to go. So I'm using this as whoever wins the trick, just so I can tell what's going on. And these are the colors, so I know which one who wins gets to move. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip a card. This is a trick-taking game, so we're going to flip a card. So this player will be the dealer. This is going to determine which player is going to start with the white hat. So we go from the dealer. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. That card gets discarded. This player gets the white hat. And I'm going to just tuck these down here because I don't want to get them confused with the cards. But I'll show you those as we go. So red gets that. All right. Then everybody's going to get 10 cards. So red will get 9 cards because they have the white hat. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10. Done. All right, so then we'll just put these here. We're not going to spend too much time looking at their hand until it's time to play cards, because we'll just focus on my hand. So I'm the black player. All right. So this is a trick-taking game. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to have the highest card, or if the white hat is played, the lowest card or cards will win the trick. Now, and we'll talk about the board when we get there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our cards. There's no suits here. The cards are different colors, but the colors are irrelevant other than like point value. Greens are 1s, blues are 0, yellows are 2, reds are 3s, oranges are 3s, this one's 4, and then the white hat is red and it's 5. So this is a joker. It's wild. It can be any other number, or it's 14 by itself. So on your turn you have a couple options. You can play a single card, or you can play multiple cards of the same value if you want. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get rid of a bunch of points out of my hand right now. So I played 4 11s. So now this player, they have an option. They can play 4 cards of the same number, of any number, not 11, but any number, or they can play 1 card. That's their choice. They always have the white hat as well. So they can't play 12. The white hat will function just like a joker, but it reverses the rules. So instead of high cards winning, it's low cards. So I think they're just going to play, for now, they'll get rid of this 10. And then it's green's turn. And they will, can they play 4 cards? Nope. So they're going to drop this wild card. Nah, they're not going to drop that down. They'll play the 12. All right, so that's the end of the trick. Now, because I'm the only player that played 4 cards, these players cannot win. In order to win the trick, you have to play the same number of cards as the leader and have a higher amount, unless the red hat's out, that you need to be lower. So I win the trick. All these cards just get discarded. And then I get to move my token on this board to a different space. The reason you want to move your token is you're trying to get 2 spaces with points to have the least amount of points possible. But in my case, I want to get to 15, as close to 15 as possible. So I want to get off this because that's 5. So let's go to right there. So I've decreased my score by 3, which is good. And this is green. It's hard to see on the red, but it'll get moving. All right, and then we go again. So I won the trick, so I get the lead. So let's see. Let's just keep going with the double cards. This sounds like a good idea. It's 2 3s. Then we'll go to red. And they're going to do 2 12s, but with the red hat or the white hat. So that means the lowest combination of cards will be the winning trick. So right now it's me. So this player knows they don't want to have less than 3, but they want to play at least 2 cards if they can to get some cards out of their hands. So they will do this. They'll play some 2 7s. All right. So I won the trick. When you win a white hat trick, one thing happens. Whoever wins the trick, which is black, has to take the white hat. Then you have to take the same number of cards as the leader led. So in this case, I led 2 cards. So I can either take 2 cards or I can take all the rest of the cards. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take these 7s. And they go into my hand. So it's a way to stick people with more cards in their hand. If they're running low, you can play that white hat and kind of mess them over. But I'm going to move my points again. So let's do that one. Let's just go this way. We'll keep it going. All right, so it's my turn. Black's still up. And I took those 7s because that'll give me 3 7s. So I'm playing 3 7s. Then this player, scoot this back to make sure you can see everything. Then this player is going to play a 12, because that's all they have. And then this player will play can they play 3? Yes, they'll do this. They're going to play 3 2s because they want to get rid of some cards. They didn't win the trick, but they got rid of some cards. So black wins again because 3 7s beats 3 2s. All these get discarded. Black gets to move a token. So I think what we're going to do is, and when I land on a space that means something, I'll tell you. I'm going to go down here because I want to get -1. And you have to move following the arrows. You can't just arbitrarily, move wherever you want. So that's what we did there. All right. Still black's lead. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to play the white hat. So now lowest card wins the trick. They're going to play an 11. Their lowest card is a 6. Their highest card is a 6, so they take it. So green wins the trick. They have to take the white hat, and they're going to take the 6 because it's the lower points. Points are right there in the corner. So they now have these cards in their hand. This one gets discarded, and green gets to finally move their token. So let's move it on that one just so you can see that that's green. All right, and then green gets to lead. And green's going to play. They'll play another 6. So green will play a 6. And again, I know this is the turnover would probably go this player, this player, this player, but it's fine. I'm just doing it this way. So this player is going to play a 6. If multiple players play the same number, this last one played is the highest. So in this case, the black one is the highest. So that's to red. And red, it doesn't matter because red's going to drop a 10 down. And they win. So red gets that trick. Now they finally get to move their token. They want to get their token off of this one because it's worth 5. Now when you move your token and there's a person in front, you get to jump over them. So they're going to go right there, which is pretty nice. Now red gets to lead. They're going to just lead this 9. It's the best card they have. This player is going to play the white hat. So now lowest card is the winner. And this player will play, oh yuck. their cards are real low, so they get the 4. So they win the trick. They'll take the white hat and the 4. And then this one gets discarded. Black gets to move their token around. Let's start going this way. Okay. Black's lead. Black is going to play this 5. Then red. Red will play this 7. And green will play a 3, because they want to get rid of their low cards for when that white hat comes out. And 7 gets it, so red wins the trick. Nothing special there. Red gets to move their token, and they're going to move their token to, let's go here. They're going to move it over to here because that space is full, and they'll go right there. Red's lead. They will lead that card a 5. Then to green. Green will play a 5, so they're the highest. And now black is going to drop the red hat. So this one's the lowest because this one's higher. Oh no, green's the highest one, so this one's the lowest. So they'll just take both of these cards. That one goes away. Red gets to move, and red will go this way. So I want to show you what that does. All right. Red's lead. Red's going to play a 5. Green will play this because it's their only card. And black will play this because it's their only card. So 5 is the winner. So red wins that trick as well. All right, so they get to do their movement first. So they will move down here. All right, so this is a special space. When you move there, this is locked here forever. So this can never be moved again. It's going to be worth 1 point, which points will make sense in a minute. But it's going to send somebody else back to the beginning. And I want to send back black because that's going to net them some major points. And that's that. So that's what that space does. And then what you're going to do, any cards that are left in your hand. So red has 2 cards worth 6 points. You're going to add the points on your cards plus where you are on the spaces. So red has 6, 7, 8. So they'll get 8 points. Black has 0 cards in hand, but they have 5 here, 2 here, so they get 7. And green has 2, 2, and no cards in hand, so they're at 4. All right, and that's the end of the round. White hat stays out. All the other cards get discarded. And then we will do it again. And that's how the game's going to continue playing. But let's go. And the game's going to end when one token makes it down here, or there's no legal moves on the board. That's going to end the game as well. Or if the tracer comes into play, which I'll explain, gets down there, that'll end the game. Now, there's a couple spaces that we need to talk about. So, yellow spaces, don't do anything. Green spaces, nothing special. Blue spaces, nothing special. Orange spaces, nothing special. Now let's talk about the special ones. I guess the red one's not special either. It's just worth a lot of points. So, FBI server. When a token goes to the FBI server, it's locked there forever. So, it's worth 1 point forever, but it will never move. Everybody can jump over it. But it's going to bring in the tracer into the game. Tracer starts up here. When the black player wins a trick moving forward, they get to move the tracer down. They also get to move their token just like normal. So move this one. They win again, they'll move this down. They win again, they'll come this way, move this down, and this comes into here. All right, then this turns into jail, tracer jail. Every time they move they win a trick, they get to move the tracer. The tracer does not have to follow rules. The only thing it can do is just not go backwards. So like normally you couldn't go from here to here, but the tracer can go anywhere. If the tracer lands on the space where you are, your token gets captured, you go to jail, and that token is now worth 1 point forever. So every round that token is worth 1 point, and it doesn't move anymore. You're stuck in jail. So that's how there could be a scenario when your tokens can't move. Then this space which I showed you is going to send somebody back to either the internet cafe or the public server. This one, the what's that called? Database server, is going to let you affect the value of another space. So if I landed, green landed here, they can take this +1 and add it to this space. So now that is a 6. That's a 6 space right there. That's terrible. Or if they wanted to, they can make it less terrible, and now it's a 4, which is pretty good. There's also one other space, the honey pot here. If you go there, you get 0 points for the rest of the game, you know, for that token, but it's locked. So everybody else, if they need to go there, they're going to jump over you. Someone has to go there to get stuck in order to get to the control assets, critical assets. There's one more space that I didn't talk about, and that is, let me see if I can find it. The randomizer, which is that. If a token would land on that on the board, so like if it was right here, token landed, that was a score, doesn't really matter, but if this token landed on it, you're going to take a tile from one of the tiles that's left, and you're going to put it onto the board. So I could go like this. Any tiles that would be, or any disc that would be on there would go back. So if a disc was here, this would go back here. And any of these special abilities that are on the card will activate in clockwise order. So it would go like this. So it's going to be a way that maybe, you know, could be, you know, a honeypot gets there, or, you know, another denial of service thing could send somebody back. So that's just a way to add some more randomness to the game. And then at the end of the game, if you're playing with the celebrity status, whoever's closest to their score would be the winner. So in this case, green doesn't really care if they get a lot of points because they're trying to get to 40, which is pretty cool. So that's how you play White Hat. Let's go up to the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was White Hat. So before we go any further, these tokens here are not the tokens that are going to come in the game. These are from another game that I had that I'm just using. This is a prototype, so everything you see here, I think the art might be final, but as far as components go, I'm not going to speak to that a ton. I'll talk about the cards a little bit later, but right now, these are not great. I know that. You can't see them, but that's just what I had. Okay? So, yeah, this game. Now, this is a really quirky game, and that's a word that I borrowed from Mr. Z Garcia from the Dice Tower. This is quirky, this is odd, esoteric, all that stuff, those words that he likes to use. But at its heart, it is a trick-taking game. The weird thing about this game is there's no suits. It's just the numbers, 1 through the 14. And they have points. As the points get higher, the cards are going to start changing colors. So when they get closer to red, those are higher value points. So, and another interesting thing, you can lead multiple cards down to the same number. But that's confusing. With some of the people I play with, it was confusing because I could lay down 4 cards, and then it seems like they could play any number up to 4. But no, it's I play 4, you have to play 4, or you can play 1. Which seems a little strange, but that's the rule. If I play 3, you have to play 3, or you can play 1. You can always play 1, but you may play the amount that the leader led, which is, I think, is interesting, but I can see where some people would think that is strange. Now, let's talk about the one component I am going to talk about is the card quality. I'm not sure if this is, again, it's a prototype, but these cards are like double thick, almost like plastic. They're really hard to shuffle. You can't riffle them. You could probably put them in some sleeves, and that would help them. They don't look terrible. I mean, they're good looking cards. The graphic design is fine. It's just they're real thick and hard to shuffle, and when it's a card game, that's rough. So yeah, that's the only component I'm going to talk about. Now let's talk about the board here. So this board, if you're playing without the basic rules or without the advanced rules, only one space on this board even does anything, and that's the honey pot, which is, let's see if I can find a tile. This one, that spot, and the critical assets at the end, that ends the game. Outside of that, nothing else does anything. So I would always recommend playing with the advanced rules, where you have the tracer, where you have, you know, the denial of service, the FBI server, the database server, where you can adjust the values of some things just to make it a little more interesting. And this celebrity status thing is awesome. Playing to have the lowest score is a cool like take on games. You're playing like golf scoring, but having this, everybody's shooting for different scores. So maybe somebody's trying to get a pile of points because they have the 50. These cards go, I think, from like 10 to 50. So you don't know what number you're going to get. So maybe the person's trying to race up the board to 50, and then I put them in jail. Now they're only scoring 1 point every time. So I've just screwed them up in, their quest to be the best celebrity hacker. So yeah, that's interesting. I would never play without this either. This is cool. So yeah, that's the game. It's odd. It's strange. It's different. I've never played a trick-taking game with a board before. I know there have been some other ones, but again, this is the first one I've ever played. And it's interesting. It's the way it works is I like it more than everybody else that I played it with. But I can see that it's not going to be for everybody. Either you're going to have to like trick-taking and you want something that's a little deeper than that, or you want a more straightforward trick-taking game, and that's not what this is. But I still like it. So that is White Hat from Dragon Dawn Productions. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.